everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Animal Warrior Radio Voices Carry for Animals number 530 shows this evening and counting. And want to welcome all you new listeners aboard. I hope you enjoy the show. Keep coming back and keep sharing this show to everyone that you know, your family, your spouses, your sons and daughters, neighbors, co-workers, because the more voices out there for the animals and action takers, the better and the faster the changes, because they can't speak up for themselves. They have to. They are relying on us to do it for better lives and futures. But I just want to go over a couple of things before we do get started. My name is Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear. And Mama Bear is on the air because she really does care. And I want to, in of all you new listeners out there, thank you so much. All you returning listeners out there, can't thank you enough for everything, all that you're doing, your ongoing support and everything. So I want to give a special shout out to all of you that's helping me out here, because I can't do it alone out here. So what we want to do is, keep the teamwork going, keep the positivity going, because we can bring the negative into the positive, and that is for sure here. So what we I just want to go over a couple things. This is the 12th anniversary. Yeah, this is great. Of all the for Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Excuse me. It was started back in June of 2014 on TS Radio Network with Marty Oakley, and it ran for 163 shows. And then I switched, and sadly, she passed away on April 1st of 2023, and Mr. Shirley do miss her as a great friend and great producer and host and everything. But she's the grassroots of Voices Carry for Animals podcast. And then in March of 2018, she started to get myself on my own on Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals podcast, and it went up to in this. I mean, for 530 shows, everyone. That is great. But in March of 2018 up to January of 2024 was still on Blog Talk Radio, but they closed down due to business, reasons or whatever. And I started up on Podbean podcast app and web from February of 2024 up till this year, May of 2026. So I'm just hoping, keep going and keep everything that's happening here, because we want to keep going here and keep the shows consistent and great guests and great. Just everything is working so well, and a big thank you to all the former guests out there that's making it happen, and all the callers. I mean, they're amazing. And also the listeners out there, a big, huge thank you to all of you, because you're the ones that's made it to total success. The guests, the callers, and the listeners. And we're going to keep going here, because that's what it takes is teamwork all the way. Because if we don't have teamwork, we really don't have nothing. So, but we're going to get started here, and and I will be taking questions later on in the chat room. Okay, and I'm trying to get that here opened up. And everybody, I want to welcome all of you, and Shelby is in there. To welcome all you board into the chat room. It is a live studio chat room here, and I have promos going all over Facebook and X and LinkedIn. Just press that link to join us here in the live chat room, and you don't have to, download anything. You'll just show up here as the not the guest, the audience, and we could go from there. So I want to welcome. I got to get her on air here, and the studio chat, like I said, is open, and we will go from here. everyone that I was having issues when I was sending out the emails. I was probably my fault because I'm still newbie, but when I went to send them out again, it said already sent. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So I sent links to the ones to go join as the audience to come on board. Okay. So and Shelby, I gotta get you in here. If you can hear me, I did send an email out to you earlier. So if you click that, you can join us right into the chat room here, or I'm sorry, right into the queue, and we could go from there. Um, and, and everyone, if you can still hear me and have because like I said, I'm taking calls into the later part of the show and everything. So I'm just looking for the you can tell I'm still a newbie. 'Cause I did better last week than this week. I don't know why, but it's a good one. We're bringing her in, and hopefully, and okay, hey Shelby, I'm going to be bringing you in. Okay, okay, hold on one second. Okay, here we go. And if you could just please go ahead and Shelby. Okay, in the chat room here. We got it going on here, everyone. So we're going to keep
Can you
going.
hear me?
Yes, there you are. I did something right.
Yay! Thank you
Hey,
so
hey.
much for having me on.
Oh, anytime, Shelby. So welcome aboard. This is awesome. And, you know, um, you have, okay, what should I do? It's giving me these, but you can hear me good and everything.
I can
But I'm
hear you
going
great.
Okay, great. And what I want to do is introduce Shelby. She's Bobosky, right? Baba, is that how you pronounce that? Um,
Bobosky, correct? Yep.
all right, I did it right. This is great. Yep. So anyway, what I want to do is introduce her. She's the hard worker out there. She is working hard from every angle, but I'll have her to tell you more about that. But she is, yeah, and welcome, Shelby. This is awesome. It's just so glad to have you on. And
Thank
she's
you.
the founder of Lone Star Humane Association, adjunct law professor of animal law and wildlife law at SMU. And we're going to be talking about the introduction and mission of Lone Star Humane Association in Texas, supporting the SAFE Act. We're going to bring that up. That's very important too, Shelby. The Save American Forgotten Equines in bipartisan federal legislation HR 1661 and Senate Bill 1775. So, but go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started. And you could, tell the audience of you had that 20 years experience with the Texas Humane there in Texas. Also, you could bring that up. Okay, but go right
Great.
ahead.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm so glad we got the technical difficulties. Not your fault, my fault completely. So, again, thank you. Well, it's so good to learn more about the Animal Warrior Radio. I loved your introduction because that everything you said is exactly what I stand for. So, I am an attorney. I'm originally from Chicago and I moved down to Texas when I started practicing law. And about 10 years after practicing law, I really was bored, quite frankly. And I really did not feel like I had a meaning to my life. And at that time, as I was sitting in my office, I got an email that said, "Hey, we need help." About 20 miles from where I was officing, there was a house that had over 500 puppies and dogs. A one bedroom house with a detached garage. And they were looking for people to help. So I said, "Great." I went that weekend. They needed volunteers. And it was my first experience ever with a puppy mill. And, although it wasn't a mill, so to speak, this woman who was in her 70s was turning out hundreds of puppies. And she got in over her head, and she went and sought help. And when I was there, it's really hard to describe, the smells, the sounds. It was just actually just terrifying and awful. And my first thing was, how on earth is this legal? And so at the time, I had found out about a C4 organization in Texas. They're called the Texas Humane Legislation Network. And they were trying to pass a bill that would actually regulate large scale breeding facilities. And again, I would love for puppy mills to be completely shut down, but it's really hard to shut down a legal business. And so the next best thing was to regulate them. And so ever since then, I was hooked. Before that, growing up, I just was a little bit different because whenever I saw an animal in pain, it really hurt me. If I ever saw just anybody treating an animal really badly, I always wanted to try to be an advocate because I knew that I might be their only voice. And so at this point, it was the start of my journey of, 17 years in the animal welfare world and trying to pass laws here in Texas.
Wow, this is so impressive, and what you're doing is uplifting, and we have to keep fighting on whatever is right for the animals, right? We cannot give up, because if we give up, we automatically lose, and when that's not
Absolutely.
happening, no way.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So
And Texas is tough. I'm from the north, and the way we treat our animals where I'm from is a bit different, and that's not to say that Texans don't love animals, but there's just a lot of challenges. For example, people down here really don't adhere to spay neuter as much as they should. People in Texas let their animals roam free, and that causes a lot of offspring. And so we have a huge overpopulation crisis down here, and it's ongoing. And I'm sure you've heard about the New World screwworm entering Texas through Mexico. Well, a lot of the things we did was we were moving and transporting adoptable dogs and cats to other parts of the country because they don't have the overpopulation that we have. And now a lot of that has been log jammed because of this New World screwworm. But I really love Texas because the people here truly do care about their animals, and the things that we do down here to save an animal, it's pretty unbelievable. I know people that have retired and spent their retirements trying to transport adoptable dogs to other states. I know people that have full-time jobs, and they're taking cats to go and be spayed and neutered, so they can do trap, neuter, release, return at 5:30 in the morning. So there is a lot of care down here, but we just have a ton of challenges that sometimes other places don't face.
right. I mean, it's always the good to check, and around because the issues out there are from every angle, Shelby. It's not like we can hide it or cover it up. We have to bring it out in the open. Like
Yes.
you're doing, and put it in the spotlight. That's the key. Focus on the problems and fix them, not just let them go or get swept under the carpet or sugarcoating it. We have to do something because the animals are relying on us. They're innocent, defenseless, helpless, and voiceless. And without us, they don't stand a chance out there from all angles. And so all these shows I've been doing are from, Voices Carry for Animals is all animals, included, and you see issues that's been happening year after year, decade after decade, and we got to come to a stop and say, "Hey, enough is enough. We need something done now, not in a year or 10 years from now, right? We cannot do that." So,
Right. It's
and
very challenging to get people sometimes to care about animals. So what we try to do down here is make links with other issues associated with animal cruelty. For example, we know that there is a link between animal cruelty and interpersonal violence. And so sometimes we can use that link to get sometimes legislators, elected officials that might not care to actually care, right? And
Hmm.
so when we can show that link, that actually caring for and recognizing animal cruelty and taking it seriously, we can help humans is, a great way and a great example of how we can make positive change now.
That's right. And we can do it. That's what it takes. I
Yes.
mean, we can never say never. At least we got to try, because the more of us that come together, the stronger and better we become. And all of you, we need your voice, and especially actions. Because the actions speak louder than the words, and that is so true. That I heard that from way back, and it's so true, right? Your actions matter more than the words are saying. So, do something and make a positive impact. And every effort counts out there from every angle, whatever you do. It's better than doing nothing about it or just listening and turning your head or just sweeping under the carpet. That's not right. Right, Shelby?
Abs-
We have to keep going. We cannot give up. And it's
no.
not going to happen overnight. It takes time, but you got to have the patience and dedication, involvement, because Mama Cow always say, "Hey, strength in numbers," and that's what it takes. And the stronger we become, because only a handful is not going to get it. That's the thing.
You're
So
exactly right. If I can, we worked on a law for 6 years. In Texas, the Texas state legislature meets every 2 years. And there were so many times when we wanted to give up. The law is called the Safe Outdoor Dogs Act. And it was basically bringing basic care to dogs, giving them proper food, water, shelter, and also a tether when they are outside. And as you know, and I'm sure you've seen, Texas is scorching in the summer. And there were days where all of us were working 20-hour days at the very end trying to pass this bill. And the moment that we knew we couldn't pass at that session, we would maybe take a couple of hours, but the next day at 8 a.m., we were preparing for the next session, which was a year and a half away. We never gave up. And the law actually has been really widely accepted and successful with our Texas sheriffs and law enforcement. And we are the first state to ban chains as a method of legal tether here in Texas. And so you are exactly right. Every time it took us 3 sessions to pass it, but we never gave up. And that's the message that I hope everybody hears.
that's right. Never give up and never give in, because hey, if it fails one time, keep going after it. Like we're talking about, Shelby, you
That's
don't
right.
give up. Don't ever look away and say I give up. This and that. No, don't do that, because
Yeah.
you got to come back stronger and recruit more people. Because hey, the more phone calls and legislators you get, the better, and the
Yes.
stronger we become. Even in emails, letters. Hey, make an appointment with them. Make them phone
Right.
calls. Your voices do matter. We
Yep.
vote these politicians in, the House reps, senators, and all of them. We don't want to make their job too easy, okay? So we want to, let them know how we feel. They represent us, okay? We don't, and that's what it's got to stand. So the louder you don't have to get irate or, boisterous or, just be professional and polite is the key, because the one that's answering the phone has nothing to do with it. Okay, so
That's
you want to
right.
go into a professional manner and go over politely, and then you'll get your point across. And then you'll get their support most likely. So
Right. And I try to get people involved by explaining that, look, helping animals through legislation is easier than ordering a pizza. It really is. A lot of these groups will now put out there where to call, who to call. If you don't know who your state representative or state senator is, you can find it on Google in less than 30 seconds. And they even give you a script, right? So, sometimes we have a lot of keyboard warriors, as you know, and a lot of people have opinions on social media now. But just a 2-minute phone call when you are trying to get a bill off the floor and get it voted out is so easy. And those who want to be more active, they can be more active. One of my favorite stories is while we were trying to pass that bill, I had a rescuer that gave me a tow truck tire chain. And it was probably about 32 pounds. And she said, please take this to the Capitol because I had to remove a dog that had to be euthanized afterwards because the chain was too heavy and it was awful. And I took that with me in for literally 4 years, and we would bring it around to every office. We would ask the legislators to hold it and say this is legal in Texas. And all she did was spend 30 minutes driving that chain to me, but that really made a lot of difference because legislators saw that, they held it, and it changed their minds. So you can get as little as involved as you want or as much as you want to do. We need every voice.
That's right, and the more that it matters because and it's what you call very meaningful and valuable time to help these animals out. You're not wasting your time, you're not spinning your wheels, you're letting your voice be heard, and that's so very important. It can't get no more comfortable than helping making changes from the comfort of your home, your phone, your computer or laptop, fax. I mean, it's all right there. It can't get no more easier. And
Yeah,
you got the social media, which is like a landing strip for all of us to connect and to keep spreading the word or get all these. Look at all the social media pages for animals, the groups, on X and Facebook and LinkedIn. I mean, this list goes on. Press that share button, get it out there in news feed, get more attention on it because that when it goes out, it go viral, okay, and
right.
more people will pick up on it. You might not even know them, but you have followers and stuff, so it gets more attention. So now it picks up more strength, and more people's going to be calling or emailing or signing petitions or whatever. I've seen petitions because I tracked them down. I seen them come down at like 10,000 signatures in a 24-hour period. Isn't that
Right.
amazing? And I took where
Yes.
I signed to where the next 24 hours later, I was like, wow, almost 10 grand or 10,000 signatures. That's
Right.
amazing. And that's going through all the social media, news feeds on, all the social media sites. So it does take teamwork. We can't not do it alone. I mean, we have to work together and get it done. And that's
And
our
you
goals.
you
Yes.
bring up such a good point because you know legislators and our elected officials, they are watching. And when they see a lot of support for a bill or a petition, they are definitely watching because they like their job and they want to be reelected. And, using, again, just a quick click of the keyboard or a quick phone call, an email, that is all going to help us strengthen our animal protection laws. And I will tell you that as an attorney who teaches animal law and wildlife law, your laws are everything. Everything trickles down from the law that you pass. And so once you have good, strong laws, then the next thing you can do is make sure that they are enforced. So here in Texas, we have sheriffs, and we have good relationships with our sheriffs because we know they have difficult jobs. They don't have enough deputies, and they're seen as the caretakers of animals when they're outside city limits. And so if we have sheriffs that are doing the job and enforcing the laws, great. If they're not, we know that is an elected position. So it's not only important to pass good laws for animals, but it's also incredibly important to ensure that they are being enforced, right?
Oh yeah, they have to be enforced because why have them if they're not? The animals is the one that's suffering, and we're trying to get them out of harm's way. That way, they have better lives and futures out there. They so well deserve.
Yep.
So we have to keep, fighting for them. And it's not that difficult. We want to see the laws not only passed, but enforced. That way, because these animals, what some of them, a lot of them are going through, they didn't have no slap on the wrist or a little bit of pain here and there. No, it was horrific or tragic, traumatized them, they shouldn't live like that. They should live free of freedom and live in comfort and peace and love and care. Not this animal abuse and cruelty going on out there. They feel pain just like we do. They
Yes.
eat, sleep, I mean, hear, walk, I mean, everything we do, and they just speak in another language, whether it's barking or meowing or whatever. But they're I mean, we have our pets at home. We want to give them a TLC home, and there's ones at homes out there that are abusing them and neglecting them. And see, well, that's what we're going to go after, okay? Because there's no excuse for it at all, zero.
Right.
So, I mean, zero excuse for animal abuse. Period. That animal shouldn't suffer at any angle out there from any part of it. If they're suffering or they don't stand a chance. They are totally defenseless. They can't call the police, and they can't make police reports. They can't call up on this podcast and say, "Hey, I need help." They can't do that. So we
Yeah.
have to do it for them. And when you see animal abuse or neglect or cruelty, report it. Okay, don't look the other way, because if you do, hey, that animal might die right then, or the next time it happens, the death will be right there at their doorstep. So
Yes, you might be their only hope. You
that's
might
right.
be their only voice that's speaking up for them.
That's right. And if you're not a voice, then watch out, and you'll feel so much better reporting it. You can go anonymous also, okay? But help that animal out. Don't just walk by it or see something and just close your eyes and close your ears. I don't. No, please do something, because that
That's right.
person that should be punished, and the laws enforced, and try to stop him from doing it again. Hopefully it will. Jail time, hey, give him jail time. Whatever it takes, stiffer laws and harsher penalties out there,
That's
because
right.
something has got to, we have to go to maximum protection for these animals, because some of them, they keep repeated. You see some of these repeated offenders. I mean, they keep doing it and doing it, slap on the wrist, probation, fines, and nothing really happens to them. So how are they going to learn? You know,
Yeah.
s- and then that's a sickening part. You know,
Well, I think a good example of really working on strengthening animal protection laws is dogfighting and cockfighting. Because in Texas, we obviously have both of those issues here. And what we've been able to do is strengthen the penalties through the years to show what bad actors these people are, right? I mean, if you go to a dog fight, it is a blood sport. It is terrible. And there are so many other illegal activities happening there. And so we've really done, I think, a great job in getting our law enforcement to understand that, listen, if you go and bust a dog fight, you will find illegal guns, you will find human trafficking, you will find everything else that is wrong with society, because they are all there together. And what is bringing them there? The actual horrific abuse of having dogs fight each other. And so, we've really been able to strengthen our two laws, and we're going to try to strengthen it even more. So there isn't just a slap on the wrist. So there isn't just such a minor penalty that the bad actor says, "Oh, I don't care. I'll just go spend the night in jail and then be out doing it again. And so using these horrific crimes to show law enforcement other methods to get other crimes and other penalties is really helped us down here.
Oh yeah, and the more you hard, the harder you work together and stick together, you're going to see the positive results out of them, and then it's going to make you keep going. You're not going to stop right there. You're going to
Right.
say, "Hey, look what happened." This takes teamwork all the way from the start to the finish to see that victory. To see them better laws and out there for them. They so well deserve. And the animals especially thank us, and they can't tell us, but when their lives and futures change for the better, see what happens. We can do it. We can do it.
Right. I have a question for you, if it's okay. In the text messages, it
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
it says
Hello.
they asked me if I was involved with Dowdy Ferry, and I can explain that a little bit. In Dallas, Texas, there is a known dumping ground here called Dowdy Ferry, and there were a great group of advocates that came together and were incredibly strong and had video cameras that were showing up to see these individuals that were dumping dogs. And it was really a smart thing to get the videos. And under Texas law, if you abandon a dog, it's actually an animal cruelty state jail offense. It is a misdemeanor. And because of Dowdy Ferry and the great group of advocates down there, they were able to put up cameras and they were able to catch a lot of bad actors. Imagine dumping a poor dog, right? No food, no water, taking them from the comforts of their home. So, yes, the advocates that worked on that, Jeremy Boss and some of his friends, did a phenomenal job and really cleaned up that area. And still to this day, they are monitoring it for video cameras. So, I just wanted to answer someone in the chat.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. And I've had Jeremy Boss on the air before. But several shows back, many shows. But he was a great guest too, and everything, and all he's doing out there. He's a hard worker too, and a true warrior, and he won't give up. And I know recently he was in the hospital, and prayers out to him because I'm not sure. I didn't catch the update on him, but I'm hoping he gets better out there and does his best because his health means a lot. So that matters too. But Jeremy Boss,
Yes.
we're thinking of you, so
There
bringing you
there
up.
are some amazing advocates like Jeremy and others that have really taken things into their own hands because they are not happy with the progress they see. And I will tell you that, some of the things that they've done have really shed a light on some of the issues we have, not only in Texas, but, throughout the United States. So, yes, prayers to Jeremy for a speedy recovery and thank him for all the work that he's done.
Yes, and I'm gonna try to bring him on back on the air too. You allow him time to get better and all that, and keep it going. So. But all of you, I mean, all the 12th anniversary tonight, Shelby, for being on air. I mean, and not, I'm not going to stop either because I'm relentless. The mama bear is relentless, and we'll keep it up. So and all of you guests and coming together, and this is teamwork here. You got the hosts, the guests, the callers, the listeners. That is one big, huge team there. Working together and getting the word out and getting the action takers, attracting them to come in because and when you see those laws getting passed, and we want to do the victory dance, and that's what our goals is for each one of them, not just a few but all of them, and the ones that
Yes.
fail we're going right back at them. So and that's what it takes because
Well, congratulations, because for 12 years, your Voices Carry podcast has truly effectuated change for thousands of animals. You know, who knows who was listening and maybe got an idea on how to pass a certain law in a certain state, or maybe they went and talked to, their senator or their state representative because of something they heard on your show. So really big kudos to you and the great work that you've done.
Oh, you're so truly welcome. It's always my pleasure. I do my best, but can't do it alone. It takes teamwork all the way from every angle. So we can't, we look at each other. We got to teamwork matters, teamwork rocks, and teamwork wins. Quitters never win and winners never quit. So
That's
we
right.
have to keep going, and that's what it takes because that's, teamwork. What they say, teamwork makes the dream work, and that's so true.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Yep. And-
Absolutely. And, sometimes it's subtle changes that, it's not carrying a big stick, but it's a great idea that can effectuate change. One of the things that I am incredibly proud of in Texas and some other states I've seen them do it is taking license plates and turning that into a spay neuter gold mine. I'm sure you understand that throughout the United States right now, we have a veterinarian shortage. And so spay neuter has become incredibly expensive. And, not having the amount of veterinarians that we need, and you understand that Texas, because of its size, the vet shortage is just exacerbated. But one of the things helping is a spay neuter, it's called an animal friendly license plate fund. And in Texas, there are two different license plates. There's one with a cartoon dog and cat, and the newer one says spay neuter adopt. And $22 of each license plate goes into this fund to put spay neuter programs together in very rural areas. So, we talk a lot about the just abhorrent cruelty, whether it's horse slaughter, whether it's dog fighting and cockfighting, torture with respect to animal cruelty. But, what also is cruel is having this overpopulation where, dogs are on the street without food, without water, in unsafe environments. And so, to have that spay neuter funding for some of our more rural areas that don't have the funding that they need, it's super important. It just doesn't always get the spotlight.
oh yeah, and that's what we want. We want it in the spotlight, focused on and fixed. Right, Shelby? We don't want it to hide or go away or come out strong and then fizzle out. We want to keep it going. Keep it
Yeah.
going out there.
And a
Yep.
lot of the problems we have, with respect to veterinarians and access to care, one solution is something called veterinary telemedicine. And I'll be real honest, we tried to pass that bill last session and we could not pass it. And in the Fifth Circuit, which is the court for the state of Texas and Louisiana, you know, there was a case and it was called the Hines case. And the court came back and said, why is telemedicine okay for your Uncle Bernard, but not your St. Bernard? And so they've kind of opened the field there because of that veterinarian shortage. Can you believe that in our state we have around 50 counties that have no veterinarian? And so, we believe in vet telehealth and telemedicine, and we hope we can pass that next session because I would rather a dog or a cat be treated through a video screen than have no treatment at all. So, yes.
Oh yeah, and in every I know that this is throughout the United States. There's a major crisis in all the animal shelters of overcrowding. And families are surrendering their pets left and right. Because of this high inflation, vet bills and vet surgeries, vet food, and plus all the humans. Everything's so out of control. Rent, mortgages, food, gas, you name it. and
Yep.
and all ages are getting euthanized. Everyone, at all ages. This is the sad part. So please adopt, don't shop. Okay, spay and neuter your pets. We can all do better than out there than what we're doing because so many are getting put down, and they don't stand a chance. All
Right.
ages, and that's the sad part. So
Yes.
whatever you can do, I mean, they need more adoption events where, hey, hey, all these shelters, what they can do is have all these events and more events to get them adopted because I notice because on my Voices Carry for Animal support group, there's and death door animals coming in all the time that don't really have a notice to get them to safety, to get them rescued or adopted or rescued, and it's sad. And next thing
Yeah.
was put down because nobody came to the rescue. So let's all get the word out there for these innocent, adoptable, healthy animals out there because they deserve a chance. And a shelter, yeah, they're safe. Excuse me, but they're not a TLC home for them. They're not getting the
Right.
love, care, and attention that they need. You
Well,
know,
you
yep,
hit the nail on the head with respect to adopt don't shop. We call it commercial animal cruelty. It truly is. We have around 40 pet stores in Texas that still sell puppies. It is 2026. So kudos to Colorado. I know they just passed their law. This is one of those laws that we're really going to focus on, and we will never, ever give up because we've got to stop. We know that those puppies are coming from out of state puppy mills. They're coming into our state, and they are not spayed or neutered. So they're sold, and a lot of them are sick. They have congenital defects. When these individuals literally could have gone straight to the shelter and adopted an animal that has already been vaccinated, that's already been spayed or neutered. It's truly unbelievable. So that is going to be a big push in Texas. We want to join California and Colorado and the other 12 states, I believe, that have said no more puppies in pet stores.
right, and they shouldn't be. You know what kind of small space and everything that they have. I mean, that is so cruel. And I
Yes,
mean, no room to move around. They're not getting the love and care and attention they deserve, and it's not right. I mean, those I've seen them in small spaces. Like, whoa, this is terrible. What kind of life is that? I mean, how long they're going to be in there suffering like that. It's terrible. Not that much room to move around in, and it's no kind of life whatsoever. So they should just all the ones in the pet stores. Hey, let's do away with them because it's not right for them to be in there.
that's
You know,
right. And, a lot of people say to me, well, Shelby, I've been in a pet store that sells puppies. And look, it's clean. I don't know what you're talking about, what's cruel. And what I try to explain to them is the cruelty, yes, they're leaving them in these cages overnight with fluorescent lights. You're right. But the actual, real, true cruelty happens back at the puppy mills where the mothers never get out. At least the puppies get out of the puppy mills, but those mothers are in those terrible conditions day in, day out, suffering. And I see, yes, there are so many purebreds in the shelters. In fact, 27% of shelter dogs are already purebred. And, we really try to explain to people if you want a Schnitzer Doodle Poodle or whatever one of those designer dogs are, we can find you a rescued one. They're out there and we'll find them because now even the doodles are just all over the shelters.
oh yeah, and every I know, my furry daughter Sugar Bear, when she was adopted, she's an Alaskan Malamute, right? So there's all kind of dogs and cats in there.
Yeah.
And I had got with some of the workers there, and he was telling me they think that she got abandoned because they think she had puppies, and they abandoned her. Isn't that so cruel and heartless?
Yes.
And I said, whoa. And probably hear some of these other horrific stories that's going on. But when she got, I got some info on her. Very, I mean, lovable dog. I mean, right from the beginning. This has been since 2019, and I said, when she came in the house, I said, you never have to worry about being abandoned ever again in your life. You're in your TLC home now. Because being in the shelter, I could tell she wasn't happy. She was looking at me with her eyes like, please take me with you,
Yeah.
And she got me right then and there with her eyes. And I said, oh, you got me. you know, you did it. You did a good job on that.
12, 12 years. Look at you on the radio, on these podcasts. 12 years. What just
I'm in
such a
shock.
congratulations. Such a congratulations.
Thank you so much. And if all of you, hey, I couldn't do it alone. All these great former guests, the callers, the listeners, and the
Yeah.
ones that the social media pages for animals that's sharing this show right now. Big shout out to all of you, of the followers and the friends who I tag on X. And this list is huge. It'll take me probably till midnight giving the names out, but they
Right?
know who they are.
Well,
LinkedIn
and
and X.
I
Wow.
saw I saw in the post too, in the chat, we need to shut down backyard breeders. We absolutely do.
Yes.
And one of the great things that we've been able to do in Texas is really put a stop to the roadside sale of animals. We've been working hard through our counties and saying no more because those truly are the backyard breeders. So imagine, it's Saturday afternoon, you're driving to go get your groceries, and you just see this pickup truck with a crate with these poor dogs that are just in direct heat, these puppies, and it says, Chihuahua $500, whatever the dog is. We know for a fact that those dogs, those puppies, probably have not been vaccinated, you know, and those are the quintessential backyard breeders. And we've got to say no more, right? At
Oh
the end
yeah.
of the day, if you buy a dog from them, let's say that dog has parvo or distemper, you come back the next day, they're gone. They don't care, So absolutely, these backyard breeders, one of the best ways to shut them down is to say we cannot have roadside sales. And I will tell you that your law enforcement and your public safety officers, they agree because the roadside sale of animals, it causes accidents. It's really a public safety, hazard as well. So
Oh yeah. And it's getting to like 10 till 8. Did you want to take any calls right now, Shelby?
happy
This,
to.
yeah, this is such an honor to have you on. I mean, this is wonderful. And so much good luck on the Lone Star, Humane Association. Got our support. I mean, that's right there. Your step up plate. Say, hey, I got this together, and I'm going to keep it together. Right? The founders on air, everyone, and this is great. So inspiring and uplifting. You keep us all going because strong leaders and strong supporters leads to strong victories. And that's when we want to do the victory dance, right? We don't want to
Thank
give up.
you.
Yes.
Yes.
And if we're coming live stream from Riverside right now, and everybody that's listening to the web, you can join us here in this Mama Bear live studio chat room. Okay. And just press that link that's going all over social media, Facebook and X and LinkedIn. It's on under my name or the Voices Carry for Animals podcast on X, and also on my personal page on X and a personal page on Facebook timeline or Voices Carry for Animals podcast on Facebook, the support group on Facebook, um, Voices Carry for Animals. It's going around all over the place. So it's making its move. It is out there branching out. and that's
Amazing.
and that's what we want. We want to keep all the support, keep me going. And I'm strong and relentless, so I'm not going to give up. I always say, hey, stand up for what you believe in, if it means standing alone, because sooner or later somebody's going to listen to you and what you have to say and what you would like to have done.
Yeah.
So contact your legislators, everyone. We vote them in and we vote them out. And every November, get out there and vote, contact them, get them to know them. It's so important because when the laws get made and they get introduced and passed and then get signed either by the state, by the governor, or federal is the president, hey, we know we've done everything we could and we're going to see some victories come in continuously. Right, Shelby? We're not giving up. That's
That's
our,
right.
yep, that's our goal. Going
And
to
you
have.
know, Lone Star Humane Association, it's so in line with Animal Warrior Radio because Lone Star is a place for grassroots activists. 100%. We're working on kind of taglines and how we're going to be separate. And I have to tell you, the best one is from a good friend of mine named Becca, and she said, Shelby, we are not powered by a paycheck. We are powered by compassion and our volunteerism and the fact that we will not give up on animals. And she is so right. I think sometimes, you see some of these organizations and they do good work, but my gosh, it's inflated. And sometimes, that fight and that grit that is left in you, it comes from within, and it is not powered by a paycheck. It is powered by truly wanting to help animals.
That's right. And I just think on this podcast, I have volunteered for 12 years, producing it, hosting it, scheduling it, everything, Shelby. It's all I totally volunteer for it. And I don't mind because it's being a positive impact. I'm
Yeah.
retired, so I can do that. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm not going to sit in front of the TV all day, and or or just I want to have some valuable time, meaningful time. What I'm going to do. So that's why I said, hey, it doesn't bother me one bit. I know I'm doing it. It's making me feel better because I'm taking my anger out into action. You know,
Right.
moving that way instead of looking the other way and do absolutely nothing about anything. That's not going to get us anywhere. We can't close our eyes. We can't close our ears. We have to be able to step up to the plate and take that action. It makes us stronger,
Right.
right? I mean, and in the strength, and once a victory hits, we become stronger. We say, "Hey, look at this! This is proof of teamwork from the beginning till the end, right there." And we can never say, "No, that can't happen." Yes, it can. You got to put some effort into it, dedication, involvement, and watch what happens. You're going to see some positive results. So let your voices be heard and your actions be recognized, because that's what it takes. You know, we can't give up, everyone. We cannot do it. And I will keep on these shows until my last breath, okay? And then once I pass away, you can go back and listen to all of them. Rest in peace, Debbie Dahmer. Okay, here we go. We got her voice, but her voice carries on. Because we're all on this earth temporarily, including the animals. So
Well, you know what? I want to say this. I think this matters a lot for you. There was a really cheesy movie in the 1980s, and I loved it growing up. It was called Bugsy Malone. And it was this adorable movie about kids that were gangsters. But the tagline in the movie is you give a little love, and it all comes back to you. You're going to be remembered for the things that you say and do. And
that's
I,
it.
I, I think that's how you live your life. And I'm just so honored to be on this show. So thank you for everything that you've done.
Hey, you're so welcome, and it's an honor to have you on, Shelby. And it won't be the last time you come on because Mama Cat, former guest, says once you're in, you're locked in. You can't get out.
I'd be honored.
So I don't have just once. I keep having them on because the more exposure out there, the better. The
Yes.
more attention it gets. It don't fizzle out. We keep it right there in the spotlight. And
Right.
gain more listeners and gain more action takers. So it's all positive on that side. So we got to keep it
Absolutely.
up. Everybody in the chat room, hello. Does anybody want to speak on air? Let me know because when I was on Podbean, it's similar to Podbean Podcast Web, but Let's see.
Greetings, Debbie.
There you are, Harlan. Aloha. How are you?
I'm good. Hello, Shelby.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello. And thank you so much for what you're doing for Lone Star rescues. I chimed in a little late though because I have thunderstorms out here though in the
Well, be
Wheeling, West
careful.
Virginia. Yeah, so the connection's going to be a little off to where I could barely hear what anyone is saying.
Well, be
And at
careful.
the same time, to understand the topic, so part in it though. But yeah, but thank you so much and happy anniversary, Debbie.
Well,
Happy 12 years.
thank you so much. I mean, it means a lot to me. It's come a long way. It's like over a decade. A decade and 2 years. So, going to keep going out there. So, and I never gave because Podbean was doing away with their live stream. With the live studio chat and also the call-ins. So they gave it a certain. I think it was May 18th was their last time for that, but you can still go on there and go live with just the guest and the host, and then record it, publish it, and then it gets out there in the social media. Well, I've been having this live stream for 12 years now, so I really don't give want to give that up with the call-ins and the chat room. So I got lucky with Riverside, and a big shout out to them. I told them I was going to give them a shout out because they've been helping me out a lot through their chat room, their help, their technical support, and their emails. So they've been a wonderful team out there to me. And I'm new, so it's a wonderful feeling that they'll give you your support and help you out as much as they can. Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
wonderful? So
Mm-hmm.
thank you, Riverside live stream. We'll keep it up. I told them how awesome their all their features are, and I'm still learning on my end. It'll take me a little bit, but I will learn it. It's pretty much like similar to Podbean podcast, but there's some other features that wasn't on Podbean, so that's what I got to figure out. So everybody, welcome aboard on the Riverside live stream.
I'm
You
still
know,
new myself, though. Yeah,
what?
tech is always changing.
Oh yeah, modern technology, isn't that something? I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it won't. And then Harold and I got this great super team going on. We work great together and multitask and help each other and getting the word out, getting the sharing those posts out there. You're drawing action takers. Call to action because that matters out there. So yeah, but you have questions for Shelby there? Go ahead. And thank
Oh,
you,
do you have
Harold,
any
for all
rescue
your.
dogs? Oh, you're welcome, Debbie. Do you have any rescue dogs yourself, though, Shelby?
I sure do. Two
In the meantime,
things. I have
what breed are they?
I have a pit bull mix. I was a dachshund person, the hot dogs. We always would adopt
Mm.
dachshunds.
Yeah.
But I got into bigger dogs
Uh huh.
because I absolutely have seen the plight of large dogs in shelters. So we also, until recently, fostered a dog every month, and they would do transports to New York. So we've done about 178 fosters in total that were going to New York through Helping Hounds in Syracuse, a great rescue up there. Because my sweet Pitty, she doesn't get along with other dogs except if they're puppies
Mm-hmm.
or smaller or juvenile
Right.
dogs. So we're able to
Oh.
foster with her. And quite frankly, her story is unbelievable. She was a dog fighting dog out of Houston, and the Houston
Oh
Humane Society
gosh.
saved her. So yes, I have
Mm.
my house is full of rescues all the time.
Mm.
Oh,
How are
you're
you able to
awesome.
transport from Texas to New York? That is a lot of transportation money.
It really is. Let me tell you, there is a group. There's two
Mm.
groups. One is it is through Humane Tomorrow in Argyle, Texas, and the other group is called Pets Express out of Wichita Falls. And so
Mm.
what these amazing people do is they go to shelters and they find amazing adoptable dogs, but due to space, They will be euthanized. So they find temporary fosters like myself. So the dog comes home, the dog either gets spayed or neutered, they get their shots, and then they do a transport at 5 in the morning. And it takes them 2.5 days and they get up to Syracuse. And we actually see, our dogs get off of the transport because, as you all were talking about, technology is amazing. And then
Mm.
the forever home usually stays in touch with me, or they at least stay in touch for the first couple of months. And I see these amazing dogs that would have, been euthanized in a shelter down here. I see them on hikes. I see them, going to the grocery store with their owners in New York. So
Mm.
it's really a great program.
And
Oh
I'd
yeah.
foster if I could, though. But my rescue dog was an English bulldog. He's easily jealous of other dogs
Yes.
invading.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
It's
space.
a problem.
Oh,
Oh yeah. And give Harry
yes.
a big hug from me.
I
Uh,
will,
yeah,
Debbie.
do so adorable. And the great mommy did. Or arm doesn't make you and inspire you to when there's these all these pets are in great homes, TLC homes, and no worries and living the life, and comfortable and at peace. And that's what it all should be, happy campers because so many of them out there aren't getting this kind of treatment, and that's the ones we got to aim for and make sure that they do,
Mm-hmm.
and keep trying, getting a hold of your lawmakers, but you could be a creator, author of a new law also. They just need a sponsor, and then to tell the representative why you want that bill in,
Mm.
and they get a sponsor, and then on the Senate side and the rep side. And then what they're going to do is go after that is co-sponsors. Whether it's in your state, um, you know, contact them because that's so important too. And constituents could do that. No questions asked, or amend a bill, or stiffen it. Whatever it takes, and then
Right.
support from your all your friends out there on social media and followers, and get support from them to have them call them. If it goes into draft, gets approved, and it gets a bill number, that's when you're on a roll right there. And that bill number, you want to keep working it, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take
Yeah.
some time and some effort. So never think that everything's going to be so easy when it'll take work, and it'll take teamwork mainly. So we can't stop from there. So teamwork all the
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you bring up such a good point. All of us who advocate for animals, we are so much stronger when we're together, you know?
Yes.
Yep.
And like, I always say, unfortunately there can be a lot of drama in rescue and some of these other groups. Well, we're Switzerland, right? We want
Mhm.
everybody to join our bandwagon because the more people that get engaged in animal politics, the easier it is for us to pass laws. And so we say, listen, I know that you don't like this rescue, or,
Nice.
there's some drama there, but listen, leave that
Mm.
at the door because we are here for the animals. And if we can all come together and support this, think of how powerful we can be as a lobby.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Can you imagine? I mean, it just wow. And Harold, I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you sent me an invite to come on air, what did you? Because I'm on a different studio over here. What did you send me to so you could come on air on in that where you're at? Because I'm trying to get Mama Cat in here, but I don't see where to invite her. So and Carolyn, hey,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm
you
reading that she needs. I don't know. I thought she was already in.
no, because see, when I was sending out the invitations today, or well earlier, I was sending, because I have a list every week, and I send them, how every week, and if you can listen, you can. If you can't, then I understand, and to get
Mm.
you right in the queue. And I was trying that, and it kept saying already sent, and I don't understand why it did that. So now I gotta put a different hat on, technical support, and figure it out.
Oh
Just like I
gosh.
did Podbean and Blog Talk. It's never just get on air and
Mhm.
everything's gonna be fine. No, it's not. You're gonna have issues,
Mhm.
not all the time, but you will have some issues. So I got to
Right.
figure that one out. I got to, go from there. Excuse me. So I'm in the
Mhm.
chat now, and I'm trying whatever he's probably fooling around with all the links and got somewhere to let me know you want to come on air. And I'm trying to let Mama Cat know because I don't see one or where to invite. Let me see here. This thing is you talk about modern technology right here. We got it going here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, when I first looked at it, I was like, "What is this?" But so when you was in where you're at the chat, you on the side, do you see anywhere where it says to speak on air, or that's what I got to look into. Yeah, let's see, we go that way. Nope.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, Shelby, I'm still a newbie at this. This is
No problem.
in training.
Understood.
I'm surprised nobody fell off the boat yet. He had
Mhm.
the ring of a raft.
I love it.
That's a perfect name. Riverside and falling off the boat.
Listen,
Mhm.
technology can be our best friend and our worst enemy sometimes,
You
right?
got that right. I
Yeah,
mean, you look at it and
true.
go,
True.
wow, look at this stuff, What's next? And then once you get used to it, then they're going to change something, and you got to learn
Right.
that, update
Right.
it. So,
What
yep.
about adjusting to AI? That's even
Oh, check that one
yeah,
out.
you just
It's
as
like,
just as yeah.
wow. Yeah, I just had, Riverside has a newsletter, which is awesome where you can post it, not the same time as your show, but on a separate day or whatever. And it has AI on there and it puts out the whole thing right there. Bam. I was like, check this out. Um,
Mhm.
but this modern technology is something else. It is. You
Yeah.
won't give up.
Mhm.
Mama Cat, I'm trying to see where you're
Okay.
at out
Well,
there.
I'm
And
gonna
her,
give Mama Cat a chance to speak, so let me put myself mute.
but we got to get her on air first. So we got to,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So something she pushed over there because I'm looking
I
to where, let's see here, what's going on.
yeah.
Maybe if I push that, I
Okay. Well,
know.
I'll give Mama Cat a chance to speak.
Mama Cat, can you hear me? Are you there? I'm trying to get her on there. Let me see here. I'm gonna learn this sometime. Probably in a year from now. 2027, I'll have it all down pat.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, Shelby, what I'd like to bring that up is that Safe Act. You was on the radio like 3 weeks ago. I seen it on your Facebook page
Yes.
about the Safe Act. The right. I mean, the federal bill,
Right.
HR 1661, and that if you can check it out on Congress.gov, everyone, you can start up an account on there. I do, and you get alerts when there's more co-sponsors. This website is awesome, and Senate Bill 775, and that's for the Safe Act. They got a lot of co-sponsors on that. Have you heard the latest on that? What's going on?
It's a
Um,
great question. So, it really affects us in Texas because we are a border state. And horse slaughter is one of the most cruel things that still exists legally in other countries. And so, the whole point for everybody to understand the SAFE Act is we would shut down the borders to Mexico and Canada and stop allowing these horse trailers to bring horses through only to be slaughtered. We have some, they're called kill pens here in Texas. We have three. And what happens is people go and they sell their horses for next to nothing. And, if they don't get sold, then they get in a transport and go down and be slaughtered in Mexico. And we
Mm.
definitely need to pass this. I've been working on this bill just, in the background because it's a federal bill. But calling my congressman, calling Ted Cruz and John Cornyn and trying to get this one passed because we finally have momentum on the bill, which is wonderful. And we think that this might be the time to pass it. So, for anybody listening, please call your federal congressman and your two senators from your state that go to DC and ask them to support the SAFE Act, because we need to treat our amazing horses with the dignity and respect that they deserve. It truly is one of the cruelest things to send a horse down to the border to cross and go into slaughter.
That's right. Let's end it because it's and I last time I looked it was 230 co-sponsors. I haven't done it in the last week or so, but
Right.
that's a lot of co-sponsors.
It
So
is. It
I mean
is. And
that's
it's
is a
finally got the
lot.
momentum. You're exactly right.
Yep. I mean, look at that. And on the Senate side, it need more. I think they only have like 7 or 8 last time I looked. That's not good, but we can always get more. That
Yeah.
just takes a bit of work. And that's the SAFE Act, everyone, is the Save America Forgotten Equines and Bipartisan Federal Legislation, H.R. 1661 and Senate Bill S 775. Hello?
Right.
And so what we need to call your representatives and senators, ask them to co-sponsor that. Area code 202-224-3121. And during business hours, it's going to ask you your zip code, and give them your zip code and go from there. And then ask to speak to you probably won't get in connection with them, but at least you can talk to the legislative aide and ask them to co-sponsor. You can even email them, okay? Or, after hours and weekends, you can also leave a voicemail, okay? So either way, you can do that.
Right.
Write a letter, set an appointment, and then even post on your social media. Hey, call to action. Can I have, some everyone to go out and make that call? I do those call to
Yep.
actions also. And spread it all over social media, and then just a call to action post asking them to call the representative to be a co-sponsor on the SAFE Act, HR 1661 and S 775, and that can go a long way
And
too.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, this goes back to the fact that it's easier than ordering pizza, truly. I mean,
Yes.
it is a 3-minute phone call. And what I like to do is text people at night and say, hey, have you called Senator so and so yet? Do it right now, just like you said. Because this truly is going to take everybody, every single person that cares about these horses. Please go ahead and call your legislators, because we have the momentum and we're close. When we had a bill back with, it was called the Big Cat Public Safety Act. And these individuals that own these tigers, these majestic animals, and they would use them for cub petting, and then they would just sit in a cage the rest of their lives. It was terrible. And society finally caught up with us and said, yeah, you shouldn't own, your own exotic menagerie of, lions and tigers and jaguars. But it really was because we had the momentum behind us, and, Carol Baskin and some of these other true heroes that passed that bill. We just joined at the tail end, but this really has the momentum, and we need to hear from everybody. So thank you for bringing that up.
You're so welcome. Hey, whatever information I could give for everyone to get involved, how you can help out. Hey, contact us. Let us know, or send us messages. How can I help out? Or go to these Facebook pages and groups. Start sharing them away. Share, share, share for the mama bear, okay, and all the
Yep.
rest of us, because that does matter. Put a little love in your heart and do your part, because without all of us taking that action, we don't only want a handful, we want a village, and that's what it takes. You can't, we don't want to fail. We want to pass. We want to be winners for the winners for the animals, not losers for the animals. Okay, there are winners and
Yeah.
then there are losers, right? And we want to be the winners because that means we're not going to give up and we're going to keep going no matter what it takes. That's our goals. You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, even before this podcast 12 years ago, I was on social media hot and heavy, still, advocating for the animals. Then I came in stronger, getting on a podcast and advocating still on the social media. So I'm doing both, and it's not that time consuming because I've gotten really fast at it. Shelby, I do this stuff so fast, pull these tabs up that my head spins.
Yeah.
I said, wow, did I just do all that?
Yeah. It's
you know,
amazing.
so the sharing and everything. It's like, wow, I have to take a break a minute. It's like, I've got really fast because I wasn't that fast at first. It took
Right.
time, but you get used to it. It's nothing to you. That
Yeah.
I love copy and pasting, press that share.
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many different features where you can get it out. I mean, you could sit there, especially on Facebook, if you're an admin on the page, share to that page or group. It's awesome. So you don't
Yeah.
really don't have to leave your page, your timeline. So that
Right.
makes it great. You know. Yep. So, and thanks, Lisa. And I'm sorry, I don't guys you got you in the queue. We'll figure out this for next week. I'll get on it right away and contact Riverside. They're gonna get to know me. They've gotten to know me real quick. Being new, a newbie, and they've been so helpful. So, hey, Mama Cat, can you hear me now? Did you see that? Is there a icon, live icon on the upper right hand corner? I know it's not on mine, but it could be on yours because I have a different studio than yours. Hello, can you hear me? And this is another great show. And Shelby, I can't thank you enough for coming on. This is such an honor, and
Oh,
uh, and
it's
the
it's
best of
been
luck.
wonderful. I
Yes,
really appreciate the invite, and I'm happy. Anybody that wants to reach out to me, I'm definitely you can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And as we're rolling out, Lone Star Humane Association, please, keep tabs on us because we're definitely going to be talking about the bills that we're going to be supporting in 2027 and how you can get political for animals.
that's right. Hey, isn't that wonderful? We're going to keep going. Let's fix all the problems in 2026, with
That's
the
right.
animals. And that fix in 26 rhymes, so let's think positive there, and because it is
That's right.
positive, right? It's
Yes.
not negative. We're bringing the negative into the positive, and it can be done. It just takes some work, okay? Some dedication, involvement, and your voices and actions, and we're on the way, on the right track, the right foot in the right direction. These animals so well deserve it. And the mama cat, are you? I don't know where you're at. She's out there roaming around. I want to give prayers to her mother Joan. She's in the hospital. Say some prayers for her. And my mama cat's there with her, so she's listening to the show right from the hospital room. So prayers to you,
Wow.
Joan, and everything. And keep the faith and let the fear disappear. In God we will always trust. Because I know because Mama Cat, she lives in Colorado. She's still in Wisconsin, visiting her and spending time with her. And
Yes.
but never
And,
give up hope. Don't
you
ever give up
know,
hope.
I'd
Yep.
love to give a shout out to a new nonprofit that's out there that is really intersecting a Catholic faith and animals. It is called St. Francis Institute for the Animals. I'm a board member, and
Okay.
we are, looking into the Pope and Catholic writings and really applying them and trying to get more people of faith in the Catholic religion to care about animals. And so I
Awesome.
really like what you brought up because it's so important to look at the teachings and use them because so many people aren't aware of how much we care for these animals and how it's so important on how you treat animals, right? And how you
Yeah,
will be remembered.
yeah. Oh yeah, and that matter. Education is the key. Teaching, learning, willing to learn, and not be, close the eyes or think that know the facts and don't just guess or assume. Do some research on your own. Help people around you to respect animals more. And with children, when they're growing
Right.
up, they know more about animals and treating them with dignity and respect. They will go through their whole adulthood doing the same. They start out young, so educating them more. I wish they would teach more in the schools and stuff. When I see those photos of children going to, the shelters, reading the animals' books, stories it was so adorable. You talk about heartwarming, and just to educate them. So education, we learn, we live and learn every day, and we never stop learning. So whatever way we can go and teach others to do the same. Hey, we're learning, we're opening our eyes and our ears, and that's awesome what I'm hearing. More education, treat animals better, bring them to the spotlight, because we all
Right.
share this earth together. We love our human rights, they love their animal rights, and everything, and they deserve to have their animal rights granted, not ignored. Just like us, we want our human rights granted, not ignored, and we'll fight for them too, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep, yep.
Well, I've just enjoyed this so much, and thank you again. What a treat that I got to spend on your 12th anniversary.
Oh, isn't it nice, Shelby? It's great to have you on. A great celebration and anniversary date and a great show. All of them together, and
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough because it takes all of us. So we'll always remember this through all the anniversaries. I always celebrate them every year. Thanking everybody and keep getting stronger and stronger because we don't want to get weaker. We want to get stronger. And to do that, we all have to stick together, stand together, fight together, and let our voices be heard and our actions be recognized. Because when we see the victories come in, we're going to do the victory dance, right? We are
That's
not
right.
going to give up at all. So
I hope the next time we talk, I've got some great victories to tell you about. So thanks
I'll,
again.
hey, anytime, and we'll discuss them too. Stay in touch. And Shelby, I tell this to all the guests and everything. Anytime that you want to join us in the chat room with these other guests that's coming on, feel free to, and feel free to get on air, okay? Because I love that when former guests come and join us, and they get on air. It's awesome. And the callers and everybody just interacted in the chat room, so but feel free anytime. And after this show is published this evening, you'll get a notification in your email that the episode has been published, okay? So you can go
Great.
back and listen 24/7, and you can
Yeah.
go ahead and share it and get it out there in the social media. I always, like to share too, even after it's published, because it's going to go out, and I have to count this up again, but it's going to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, Player.fm, Podserve.fm, Podbean. I'm still on Podbean, just on the lower plan for hosting,
Yeah.
and also the PPJ Gazette Online, voicescarryforanimals.com. Subscribe there free. I mean, and two YouTube channels, Voices Carry for Animals podcast on YouTube, and also Animal Warrior Radio on YouTube. There's just a huge list here. And last time I was on Podbean, I had like 28 other podcast website platforms that it was getting published to, where they can go back and listen to them at any time. We can't hear them live from there, but at least they can go back and listen to them anytime. Isn't that wonderful? I love it.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm going to need to
yes.
go check that out.
Oh yeah, and I'll have them as soon as it gets published tonight. I'll send you a link. to
Great.
your email and to Facebook and LinkedIn or whatever, and
Yep.
go from there.
Okay.
How's
Well,
that? But I
that's
want to really
wonderful.
thank you so much, there, Shelby, and best of the luck. It's so wonderful to hear what you're doing. Lone Star Humane Association. Best of luck to you, and keep me informed. Keep in touch, okay?
I will. Have a
Because
great night. Thanks again for all you do and happy 12th.
yeah, happy 12th, and you'll be on after that. I'll be in contact with you. Another
Great.
great show and a great celebration. And that's what matters. And keep these shows going. Keep the guests coming in. We got a great lineup, including with you on this new podcast on Riverside live stream, everyone. So next week, want to welcome her back, Billy Groom. You remember her? She's coming back. So I'm going to confirm it and go from there because she's been a guest on several times and everything. So we're not going to, with her shows. I mean, we go several weeks back. She's a trainer and everything. I mean, her skills and all her involvement is awesome. But welcome her back, Billy Groom, and everything.
Great.
So. Oh, and the one thing I want to do is bring up. I'm going to do a 360 here. The oneblood.org is in dire need of platelets, okay? And it's an emergency. It helps save lives and it give them hope to carry on with cancer patients out there, and everything. So they're on Facebook. I am a regular blood donor, okay? Oneblood.org, and I will continue to be. And I want to spread the word out on air. Just visit them because that's nationwide. Okay, so you can enter and donate blood because they're in dire need, and that's an emergency. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's not good. So spread the word out there. I know they put a post on Facebook that emergency blood and platelet shortage donors are critically needed. Okay, so please go to their page. You can schedule it. They have in-person donation centers, and also they have the big red bus. You have to a questionnaire. Fill out that. Once you're in, you can go into the one big bus. They have an app. They have the web. Schedule appointments. Go in there and donate blood. Help the ones in need. You never know when we're going to need it, right? Blood transfusions, accidents, all this other cancer, all the
Absolutely.
hospital patients that need it. So please, if you can spread the word, go to their page on Facebook. I believe they're on X also, their website. Kind of educate yourself with it. Um, and then, let others know, even your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends, your family, your sons, daughters. Help save lives out there. They so well deserve, right? I mean, we never know when it's going to be us. We cannot predict our future,
That's right.
and
That's right.
I gotta look at more because they have a for animals too where they donate blood. I was so I forget who mentioned that to me. I was like, really? That's interesting, you know, because they get cancer too. I know my next door neighbor's dog has cancer, and you know how much they're charging them for chemo a month? Over $1,000. Isn't that ridiculous or what?
Yes.
For a
Yes.
dog.
Yeah.
Whoa. This stuff is so out of control. You
Yeah.
know, that is sad. And I say that's if it goes a year, that's $12,000. Something's
Right.
got to give here. You
Right.
know. So, but even animals, I'm going to look more into that and let everybody know on to have um, your animal donate blood. I don't know how they would do that, right? Or probably put them out or something until, or because because I know when I'm doing blood, it takes a little bit of time. But everyone, please do that. Check them out. Spread the word. Share. I will share it again on social media and keep resharing it. And
Great.
let's all be a Yeah, that's what I said, Harold. Blood donation for animals. I'm interested in finding out more details. I'm going to look into that more and let you, excuse me, know and go from there because that'd be something to bring up on the show too. Get the word out there because they need, they get look what they get as health reasons, just like us,
Yep.
diabetes, cancer, you name it,
Right.
right?
Yeah. So
So
important.
oh, yeah. So I will be looking at that. I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening. And visit you can subscribe free on Voices Carry for Animals podcast dot riverside dot com. Subscribe free in the upper
Oh,
right hand corner. Subscribe, put your full name or nickname, and then your email address, and click submit. You will get a follow up email up and it'll say thanks for subscribing. And this is very important that you push submit subscription. And that'll put you in as a subscriber. Okay, there's a lot of them that's going past that. Just reach thanks for subscribing, then move to the next email. So we can't do that. You have to submit the confirmation, okay? And then you're in. And then you'll get notified as soon as this podcast is published. You'll get to know, hey, the episode is complete. And even on Podbean app and web, it'll be on there also. So it's sprouting out everywhere. It's branching out, which is voices do care for animals if there is enough of us, right? And everything. So, but I want to thank all you super team in the chat room in there. Thanks for all your continuous support out there listening on the web. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And keep spreading the word. Let your voices be heard, making the voices heard worldwide, and we're not going to give up. We are here to keep going, right, Shelby, and keep our actions going and staying strong together because we inspire each other to keep going, right? We don't give up, and we're not going to give up. So that teamwork has to be, has to take place. Whatever every effort out there that counts. So, but Mama Cat, next week I'm going to make sure I look into this. Was what happened? But at least we did get on air, Shelby. I didn't get all knocked off the boat completely. It's just to have the queue ready. But anyway, remember oneblood.org, everyone. Thanks for all tuning in. And the show will be published and it'll be available on YouTube and all of them. But next week, Billy Groom, welcome her back. And she's another great guest. We got a great lineup coming up, like always. Can't thank all these former guests is coming on. And Harold's got one thing more to say. Hey, go ahead, Harold. Oh, wait a minute, it says the recording stopped. So go send it right through again. And to tell me where you sent that so I can tell Mama Cat because I can't find it. I'll probably look right at it, but I can't find it. I'll figure it out sooner or later, right? But Harold, you want to say anything? And all you listeners out there on Facebook and X and Twitter, or X and Facebook and LinkedIn, thank you all so much and enjoy another great show this evening and everything. So thanks for tuning in. And I want to go and Mama Cat, we'll get you next week. But here we go. Paw in
paw in
hand,
hand,
united we
united we
stand
stand
against
against
all animal cruelty and
cruelty,
neglect
neglect
across the
across
land.
the land.
Thank you, Harold. That's awesome.
I wanted to help you for that because for Mama Cat, we're doing for Mama Cat.
Oh yeah, Mama Cat, we
Yes,
we missed you. Okay, she's a former guest too, Shelby, many times.
she's the
She
best. Oh, she's the best.
she is out there in Colorado taking care of 90 colony cats. She used to have
Mm-hmm.
125 and getting them homes and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and making sure they're warm in the winter time. She's a girl. That's why she got Mama Cat. So but anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and may God bless you all. Okay. And with our voices, the animals will be heard. With our actions, the animals will seek justice. Good night, everyone, and have a peaceful and nice evening. Good night.